So many of my ideas come from other people's ideas. And that's not to say that I'm stealing them. It's literally just the circle of life. It's the idea that no one has an original thought, or every movie that you watch has already been done in a different way, or the story has been told in a different medium or whatever. That's kind of the circle of life, the circle of art. And today's topic, I feel like, is this episode was basically inspired by this video that I saw today that highlights a lot of the crazy things happening in our world, in the US, and at the whole earth right now that aren't really being publicized because of other things that are going on in this media sphere, which is okay to some extent, but it's also important that we know what's happening. And it's kind of what I want to talk about today. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Someday I'll Have a Podcast. My name is Ren. I am your host. I do a lot of things in the online space because that's just the world that we're living in today. How crazy is that? I saw a thread, if anyone is on that app, Threads, the meta version of Twitter. Someone was like, why do old people start conversations with strangers all the time, LOL. And I was like, either this is rage bait or this person really doesn't know what is going on. Up until like 20, 30 years ago, humans had conversations with each other. Can you imagine that? We talked to each other face to face. And I know that's like the opposite of what I'm doing right now, because instead of talking to a person face to face, I'm literally speaking into a microphone alone in my bedroom, where I think the sound quality is pretty great, by the way, instead of having a conversation with a person. And this crazy digital age just blows my mind. But that's not even what I want to talk about today. Wow, talk about a side quest tangent. Maybe I should talk about that. Maybe I should do a whole episode on my thoughts on that and what the heck is the thought process there. But anyway, this podcast was born from the idea that someday never comes unless you take action. You put action to your words. I was always saying, someday I'll have a podcast, because I have so many random things I want to ramble about. And so I thought, someday. But you know what? Someday never comes. So I just had to do it. So here we are. Someday is today. I encourage you to do the same with whatever your little dreams are. Now, this episode was kind of inspired by this thing I saw today on Instagram. It was basically breaking down world news that is being kind of swept under the rug right now due to the quote unquote bigger things happening. Obviously, without trying to dive into the depths of my political beliefs, there's wars happening. There's a lot of wars happening specifically due to gas, and thus fuel prices are rising. But the effects go much farther than not being able to put gas in our cars. It is affecting farmers, which is affecting our food production. And not only is that affecting the prices of the food, it could seriously turn into some sort of famine. And this is not to doomsday it. I'm just talking based on what I see and what I've since learned about the state of our world. This is why voting is so important. This is why we need to be taking stands. And it's unfortunate that so many people say, like, not everything's political. Why do you have to talk about politics? And really, like, on my YouTube channel, which is my main, I would say, creative endeavor, I rarely actually talk about politics. It focuses largely on music and adventure, travel, which are all political things. Truthfully, everything is political, because when it comes down to it, when we have to vote for our rights, we have to vote for the people that are leading us. Literally everything is political. Our existence is political. It is unfortunate and it sucks and it's annoying, because it's the last thing I want to do is talk about it and have to educate myself and all these things. But at the end of the day, everything is political. And so as a result, it's something that we need to talk about. And I want this specific podcast and my online presence to be a space of safety, and I want real discussions. I want to learn. All of that to say, the things that are happening are affecting everyone. We in the Western civilization, we have a very egocentric view of the world, and that's just what it is. I'm not labeling that in any certain way, in any binary of good or bad or whatever. That just is what it is. We think that we're untouchable. We like to think that we are the best countries. We like to think that we are the most powerful politically, militarily, whatever. And sure, while some of this could be objectively true or subjectively true or whatever, the truth of the matter is These are world issues happening, and these world issues will affect the entire world. Not only is it the issues with the gas and the oil right now that we're fighting over and literally having war over, which I think is the craziest thing in the world, because I think war is like the dumbest thing ever, but that's besides the point. The point is, not only is that happening, the butterfly effect is much greater than we could even imagine. There's a shortage on fertilizer, and because of that, it's affecting our food production. It's affecting farmers. It's affecting labor. People are losing their jobs because of this. It's so much bigger. And again, it is a global event. All of these things are global events. And that is why everything is political. The food that we eat, political. The ground that we walk on, political. Guess what? You pay taxes for your property. Your home is political. You know what I mean? Like everything. And it sucks, believe me. I remember being in college. I was involved in a feminist organization. And I remember this huge conversation coming up of like, why does this organization have to be political? Why can't it just be we're supporting each other in our endeavors, in our schoolwork, in the things we want to be involved in putting on events and fun ways to connect women? And yes, while it was all of those things and those that are amazing, again, feminism, inherently political. Females existing on this planet, inherently political, because laws affect us. Legislation affects us. You can't say you're a feminist and not want to fight for labor equality and wage equality and fight against discrimination in the workplace, against sexual harassment in the workplace, and fight for Title IX, to fight for protections for ourselves and each other. It really is the world that we've created. And because we've created that, we also have the power to deconstruct it and start fresh, start new, create different systems and put those in place. But in order to do that, we need to be politically active and also work together. We need to learn about ourselves as human beings, as connected to each other, to the earth, to the systems around us. We need to unlearn all the things we've been taught about how capitalism is the best system. We need to understand that we built these systems so that we can unbuild them, so that we can deconstruct them and create something that works as a better system. And while I do kind of feel like this is also a crazy tangent that I'm going on, the point of this whole thing was basically to share that seeing so many crazy, horrible, scary things happen in the world, it really, to me, it all comes down to I need to live fully right now. Of course, we need to educate ourselves. Of course, we need to be politically active and we need to vote and we need to protest. But then at the end of the day, it comes down to how am I living my life? I can be so frustrated and scared and upset about the state of the world, but how is that serving me? How is that serving me is to go to bed stressed and crying at the end of the day. Wouldn't it be more pleasurable, more exciting, more freeing to live every single day, to take advantage of the privileges that I have in the sense of I can travel. I can run up and down the beach barefoot. I can drink so much coffee that I can't sleep for 3 days. I can eat whatever I want. And sure, maybe someday I won't be able to eat whatever I want because as noted, we're going into this very uncertain time of potentially food shortages. Why not live every single day while we have the days that we have? I do believe there needs to be balance between living for our own lives and doing these very selfish things and doing things for the collective, donating our time, our money, our giving votes to things that will lift up our communities. There needs to exist a balance between the selfish living and the selflessness. But at the end of the day, we just need to really embrace completely our human experience. We need to do everything we possibly can to make it the best experience. So really, to me, that means traveling, that means dancing, that means listening to music and singing at the top of my lungs and going for a walk and jumping in the lake. Like all of these things are how we must live, because it's either that or literally cry on the side of the road because what the hell is going on in our world? Do you know what I mean? Is this making sense? And I hope this is, again, I don't want this to be doomsday feeling. I don't want anyone to get scared or feel uncomfortable. I want you to hear this and be inspired to live. And that is really, I mean, way to circle back, Ren. That really is the goal of my main creative endeavor with my YouTube channel, right? I am always out there living and trying to encourage people, whoever clicks on the damn video, to do the same thing. Because there's only so much you can do, right? We have this one life, and so we need to live it. We need to live it. And I don't care what that looks like. It can look so different for you than for me, as long as you're not hurting anybody. We need to live it, okay? And honestly, it may not feel super hopeful, because the things I see on the news and searching beyond to know what's really happening in the world, it is scary. It does scare me. It makes me feel hopeless sometimes. It makes me feel like powerless. But that is when I'm feeling those ways, that is when I need to push myself to feel powerful. I hope that you're hearing this and you're feeling empowered as well, and encouraged and inspired, because we do have the power. We do. And it's very easy to be brainwashed that we don't, but we do, at least for our own individual experiences. So let that be what you take into your day. Also, music unites, and it is so powerful. It's incredible. It's one of the oldest things that has brought people together, like literally from all time. So I'm going to share a song with you that I've been enjoying, that's been on my repeat playlist. Oh, this is a good one. Love. Okay. This is called LOUDERR by Bardo and Cliftun. So Bardo is this awesome, incredible guitarist that is in the band Beauty School Dropout that I'm always recommending, but he also released a song recently. He's also a DJ. So him and Cliftun produced this song called LOUDERR, and it's of course been on repeat because it's so good. It's a bouncy, housey jam. It will make you want to go to the club and celebrate being alive, which is the whole point of what I'm saying anyway. We just need to live. So look at how perfectly that connected. Okay, I stuttered and stumbled over my words so many times in this podcast episode, so I'm going to go because it's going to take me quite a long time to edit this. But thank you so much for being here. Share this with a friend, leave a review, and be excited. Be excited about life. Try to stay hopeful. Do things that make you feel alive, and I will see you next time. Bye.